For this third video in the aLots of Cycles Nightmare series, we'll be tackling Secretary Vera. As before, make sure you're in the Nightmare section. If you see red and gold, you're still in the normal Hell Raid section. You need to click on the Nightmare Mode button and see the purple background to know that you're in the Nightmare section. Now, Secretary Vera is a unique fight. She typically requires an entire fire team and can be kind of difficult, but we're going in with a cheese team. This team got me over my frustrations from Executioner Carcanus because this team is actually a lot of fun. Fire Lidica is going to be one of the cornerstones of this team. Her S3 lets us push the worm back and control the fight. That's what makes this team so viable. I put her on the Misconfile artifact because she's our only real source of defense break, and you do need defense break to power through stage 2. I think you could still do stage 2 without defense break, but you'll probably need to put a lot more damage on her and on your Schuri to make it happen. I put her on the number 2 EE, gives her a little bit more CR pushing, a little bit more control. Other than that, just put a little speed on her and make her tanky enough to survive. She doesn't need damage, but damage would help. Green aLots is our healer and our secondary CR pusher. He's got 100% push. I gave him the Doctor's Bag artifact to help him cleanse debuffs and get a little bit bonus to his healing, but you can run other artifacts. His gear point is pretty low. Just give him some speed, like 200 plus speed and a little bit of tankiness, and he's fine. Auxiliary aLots is my primary pusher. Primary because he has the Spirit's Breath artifact, and this will let him non-stop use his S2 to keep pushing your units up. If you don't have this artifact, it's going to be difficult to do this fight, I think. Schuri is my damage dealer. Make sure he has at least 85% crit chance because we are fighting a green unit, and give him as much damage as possible. I like him on the Rosa Hargana artifact for extra chances to proc because his control is key, but you could put him on a damage artifact like Symbol of Unity, for example. Oh, and one last thing. The secret tech to this fight is take Kazran. Kazran is a guardian, is perfect for this fight. He's got a team-wide CR push, which facilitates our cheese. He's got a cleanse, which is important because other than Doctor's Bag, we don't have a source of cleanse. And he gives everybody attack buff, which makes you hit even harder. He's a really good guardian for this. Now, as with my other teams, I made sure that this one was fully autoable up to the boss. So you can just press auto and work your way all the way up to Vera. Now, there is one fight versus a plagued mini-boss who starts stacking poisons right here. I was a little concerned about this one because of my lack of cleanse. I was worried that the poisons would overcome me, but the regen buff and the speed of this team, it wasn't really a problem at all. Now, this is kind of important. When you get to this last fight in the hallway, you want to make sure you turn auto off. I know I said it was full auto, and it can be, but the reason you want to turn auto off is you want to make sure that you have all of your skills ready for the Vera fight. So turning auto off lets you manual the fight. You could just click all your skills off as well, and that should work just fine, but this let me power through the fight pretty quickly and make sure when I got to the Vera fight, all of my skills were ready to go. The last thing you want to do is have to fight the worm, and one of your important S2 or S3s is not available. Now, when you reach this corner, you should be right at 23 morale. If you camp, that'll get you up into the very good category and give you that extra 5% health.
I want to help as many people as possible. That's why I was created.
Not so long ago, I converted an evil criminal with this very sword. I pummeled him until he was begging for the goddess's mercy.
Now that we're up to full morale and we have the maximum possible stats, go ahead and use those blue potions to take care of any health that might have been lost in the prior fight, and we're ready for the Vera fight. Vera hatches one of the eggs, which puts 3 turn debuffs on your units. This is where Kazran comes in great. Use his skill, and just like that, all of those debilitative debuffs are gone, and everybody has attack buff, and it pushed everybody up. Also, it did a good amount of damage to those eggs. That combined with Lidica's S2 and Schuri's S3 should kill or mostly kill the eggs. If you're running a damage Schuri, it will definitely kill the eggs. The reason for this is you cannot attack Vera with any single target attacks until all of the eggs and spiders are dead. She has to be alone, otherwise if you hit her, she will counterattack and she will stun your entire party and probably kill you. It will end your run, so be very careful with that front or that second row egg too. Its hitbox overlaps Vera's hitbox, so be very careful where you click. If you accidentally click on Vera, the run's over. Now that Vera is alone, we can safely hit her. I'll use the S3, send her to the back of the line, except she 15%ed. But that's okay. That's going to happen, but ideally you want to control Vera with Lidica's S3, push her to the end of the line. It'll take her longer to summon the ads. Now it's just a non-stop cheese of using aLots to cycle Schuri to keep pushing him up. If we can get any kind of a defense break off of the misconfile artifact off of Lidica, this is even faster. Now, Vera does have a mechanic. She can't be controlled unlimited. After so many hits, her passive procs and she automatically pushes to the very front of the line and does her attack. But this does reduce it so that she can only do her attacks when that passive procs. It gets rid of any normal cycling from her, and that's part of what makes this cheese so successful. You'll be able to power her down quickly and pretty stably. I think you'll notice my stats never get anywhere close to being in trouble with the healing from Doctor's Bag, the regen buff from Lots, and just the raw healing from Lots' S2 and S3. I'll speed this up a little bit because I think you get the picture. CR push attack, CR push attack, save your AoE hits on Lidica for when the ads are there, and try to get a defense break. Misconfile didn't proc even once. Well, it procced there, but it procced right when her passive activated and she self-pushed up and summoned the eggs back. So now we're back to the situation again where we're all debuffed, so it's time to use your Kazran Guardian again. Gets rid of all the debuffs, CR pushes up your team, gives everybody an attack buff, and we're good to go again.
Now's my time to shine. I'll have to increase my firepower. 1.
Now Schuri is safe to do his S3 because his S3 is an AoE attack, and Vera doesn't counter to AoE attacks. She will counter to single target attacks, so make sure you do not touch that worm with any single target attacks until the spiders and eggs are all gone.
Time to prove my might.
I won't lose to anyone.
Because they're hurt so bad, instead of pushing, I'm going to use his S3 here because that should kill off all of the ads. Oh, left the spider with a little bit of health, but one hit from Schuri takes care of that.
I'm a little nervous about fighting.
And now we're good to go.
Let's start.
Should I fight like Lots? I'm strong.
Is it time to draw my sword?
Okay, let's see if Lidica can push him back this time.
Time to bring this fight to an end.
Back of the line. And we got a defense break too, and a slow buff, or slow debuff. So I should probably be able to push this phase as long as I can get at least one more defense break off that misconfile artifact. Which just does not... There we go. Well, she keeps cycling the defense break off. It's going to be really close. Wow. I think I'm maybe like 100 health away. But that's okay. She's going to heal a little bit from the egg hatch. You know, it's only a heal block, but I don't want to take any risks, so I'm going to go ahead and use Kazran one more time to get rid of that 3-turn heal block off of my Schuri. I probably would have been fine, especially with the constant pushing. I maybe just wasted a bunch of souls in doing that. After 2 or 3 pushes, he'd have been healthy, but I didn't want to take any risks at breaking this run because it's a long way to get here.
I'll have to increase my firepower. I'll break you into 1,000 pieces. Fall asunder!
And one more time for the people in the back. Use AoE attacks only. If you only have a single target attack available, use those single target attacks into the spiders and eggs. Do not touch Vera. If you accidentally click on Vera, you accidentally miss the hitbox on one of the spiders and eggs and hit Vera, you will probably end the run right there. I don't, unless you are incredibly lucky, I don't think you will survive her counter, because it will almost guarantee stun your entire team and do a tremendous amount of damage, and then you sit there and take hits because you're stunned. And if even one of these units dies, the run is kind of over. So it's very stable as long as you respect that mechanic and don't touch Vera while the eggs and spiders are in place. Now you only have to get Vera to 50% health. I can't get Miss Confile to proc to save my life. Hopefully I'll be a little bit more lucky in the next phase, because in the next phase you need Miss Confile to proc.
I'm a little nervous about fighting.
So this only should take one more hit from Schuri and we're going to push phase. There we go. So now we're in phase 2, which is the cocoon. The cocoon you can't control with Lidica, so using your S3 on the cocoon is there for just two purposes. One, to stick the slow debuff, and two is to stick the defense break from Miss Confile. You need one or both of those to stick, I think, for this to work. If you don't get slow or defense break real early on in the fight, you're going to have trouble completing. Now, if you hit the cocoon, it will push the monsters in the front row up. It'll CR boost them. You'll notice when Lidica uses her S3 here, the cocoon doesn't change positions on the CR bar because it can't be manipulated, but I did stick the slow and the defense break, so I think we'll be fine. If you ran a damaged Schuri, this would probably be a lot safer of a team. And the reason I say safer is you've got until that cocoon hatches to get its health down. The higher its health, the bigger the damage to your unit or to your team when the cocoon explodes. If you kill the cocoon, if you get its health all the way to 0 and force hatch it, you don't take any damage. I think you need to get that cocoon at least to 30% health. If you're 30% health or lower, you should be able to survive the explosion when the cocoon hatches. Higher than that, it will probably wipe your team, especially because these are predominantly squishy units with no mitigation.
Heretics will be punished.
Other than Schuri, just ditch all of your attacks into the ads, because Shuri's really the damage dealer here, and all you're going to do is push up those monkeys in the front, and they're going to chip you down and do damage to you, and you don't want to be damaged when that cocoon bursts. I'm going to go ahead and burn my Schuri here to get an extra set of attacks in. If you soul burn your Shuri's S3, he gets another attack with his S1, and that helps do damage. If you've got your Lidica built for damage, she can help contribute to hurting the cocoon. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and start using her into the cocoon just for the extra chance of damage, and that dual attack off of the Rosa Hargana artifact was really nice. Oh, that was kind of a waste. aLots still cut Schuri after the push. How did that happen? Well, as bad as this seems, I'm still going to push Schuri because I want an attack buff on him for this attack.
Trust me.
Okay, so the next turn, the cocoon's going to hatch. You can see its ultimate bar is all the way up, so he's ready to hatch. So I've got just a few minutes to get his damage down as much as possible. I'm going to clear all these debuffs with Kazran and do a little bit of extra damage. Mostly just did that to clear the debuffs and to get an attack buff. Everybody's going to attack into that cocoon now because its health's right at 26-ish%. No, 30%. 25. Anyway, it's still a little higher than I like. The more you can get the health down, the less damage will happen when the egg hatches.
Should I fight like lots?
What a time for Spirit's Breath to not proc. I think this is my last hit. Okay, I almost killed it, so that's great. When this cocoon hatches, it's only going to do a tiny bit of damage. Yeah, it did like 1500 damage because the health was almost all the way down. Now that we're in stage 3, it's easy street. There is no real conceivable way to lose here because the worm can be controlled by Lidica again. You can CR manipulate it and just keep pushing it back because the worm never really gets to take any turns. She doesn't summon any more adds, so you don't take any more damage. You don't have to worry about her bringing in any more units into the fight. It's basically phase 1 all over again, but easier because there's no passive CR boosting, there's no summoning of more units, there's no prohibition against hitting her with single target attacks. You can ignore the adds entirely and just hard focus Vera until her health is gone.
Take.
And that's it. That's how you cheese the Secretary Vera fight. Good old-fashioned Schuri cheese. I hope you enjoyed this video. I actually really enjoyed this fight. It was kind of fun. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments section. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit like and maybe consider a subscribe. Have a great one.